What's good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael. You already knew that. Today, we got a package in the mail. Let's open it up. Now, before the reveal, let me show you. We're doing it on top of a partition from a police vehicle and also a gun rack from one of them. So, let's see what's inside. Try to guess it. Put it in the comments down below. Okay. Da, da, da. Oh man, the mystery continues. A box within a box. Now this looks like a laptop, but it is not, in fact. So if that was your guess, go ahead and guess again before time runs out. Alright, it's a piece of styrofoam. Always use protection. And here is the grand reveal. Ooh, still can't tell what it is? No worries. Let me take it out of the sleeve. That's right. Upgraded infotainment system for the police interceptor. We're going to turn it into a daily driver. Let's get into it. Alright, so things taken out of the small box. We have the screen, of course, as shown earlier. We have an instruction manual that links a video, so I'm going to actually see if that video is good or not. To kind of determine the format of this video. And then we got a whole bunch of wires. And while we're at it, since I got you on the camera, what I want to do is walk over to this and show you what we're rocking with. So I realize it's all white. Just bear with me. It won't be here in a second. Yeah. So that's what the screen looks like. It's giving me, you know, bad guy Phineas and Ferb, beep boop beep boop beep boop, with the phone number. But we're gonna replace this out. It's gonna be night and day difference. I can't wait. First step is to take these silver pieces off. I'm gonna do my best because I have these trim tools from the supercharger install. If you haven't seen that, definitely look into that. I mean, that's a whole story in and of itself. But I'm going to try to do this without destroying the panels so it doesn't look like shite afterwards. Let's get it. I got the first piece off and I didn't break anything, which is pretty neat. Hopefully I can do that with the second one. But I want to show you how I did it. Can't say this is the best way to do it, but I tried to get it from down here and it just wasn't budging. So how I got it is I actually put... It is plastic. I'm not using the metal one because the metal one will scratch it up a lot. I'm using the plastic one in here. You see that? Hopefully. And then I'm working my way down like that. Okay. Now it's not completely released, but I'm just going to use my fingers to pull it out. And if this is something you haven't done before, it's something that's difficult to describe because you need to use more force than you're comfortable with, but not all of your force. I think kind of like the biggest thing I try to think about is it's just very gradual, like force. It's not sudden because I don't want to break the plastic. And then after I did that, if memory serves, I just continue to work my way down, right? I'm trying to find essentially the next clip and where it's located. And I'm using this, oh, just launched. I'm using this as like a crowbar, so I'm putting it underneath and I'm just working my way around it, right? There's one right here that I'm having difficulty getting. And now some of you might be asking, I can't believe, you know, he has the audacity to make a video like this when he himself doesn't know how to do it. I'm giving you a realistic viewpoint of what this looks like because truth is that most people will just say, oh, remove this piece with this tool. And then you're on to the next step and you're only 20 seconds into the video when that's not reality, right? Like, you could see there's definitely some struggle here. Okay, I see. So the part I'm particularly stuck at is here to here, this little button piece. So I'm going to skip that. I'm going to come back to it because based on the fitting, it looks like that just slides off. It's not supposed to pop off. So just keep working our way down. And the reason why I'm using my hands is because if I use my hands, I know exactly how much force I'm using. When I'm using this thing, I don't always know. So, all right, so everything's off, and then we're just gonna try to slide this one direction or the other. Okay, it's supposed to slide in this direction for the record. So now we got both of those things off. Now I will show you the next step. The second tool you're going to need is a 7mm socket. I like to use the smallest ratchet that I have available to me just to make sure, again, I'm not, cranking on these things, and make sure, because these are smaller bolts, that you have it going in the right direction before you start cranking on it. So we're just going to loosen these up. And do your best not to lose these. Right? So that's loose. And there's 4 of them, right? Hopefully you can see them in the video. If not, I promise it is super obvious where these 4 are. And when I take the head unit off here in a second, I will actually show you the locations too, so you can't miss it. So this is what the bolt looks like. Doesn't want to focus, but like I said before, 7mm head. Steering wheel's kind of in the way on this one. My fat sausage fingers are having trouble grabbing it. You know what would come really in handy, but probably be unnecessary for something this simple, is if you have a wand magnet. I have one of those. Those are super helpful. Come on, give us trace. Alright, trace. And I'm putting them all in the same spot. So if I lose one of them, I'm losing all of them. Alright, we got those 4 bolts removed. Now we're just going to shimmy this thing out. Yup. Just like that. And on the back side, on my particular model, you can see I just have 1 cord. There is a little clip back here. You're just going to push that, and you can actually feel it flex. You don't have to press it hard. To right, if I try to zoom in, it's going to totally lose focus, which is just disappointing. Come on, focus. Focus. Right there, this little thing. Yep, just like that. Now, it's not going to fall because you're going to have 2 hands, whereas I just had 1. But again, oh yeah, this is a way better way to show you. Right here, you're pressing this thing right here. Then when you press, you pull. Now, if you're pressing and you're pulling and it's not going anywhere, just a quick tip, push it in, then push this, then pull it out, right? Now, the spots where I removed the 4 bolts, very obvious, like I promised. Right here, 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 and here, those 4 spots. Now, we're going to reuse that 7mm socket. Good job to the engineers for keeping the size consistent. We're going to remove these 4. We're going to remove these 4. Now, if you have a different configuration, it's, may look slightly different, but we're going to remove these, and then we're going to unplug them. Remove this. Another quick tip is to loosen all of them before you actually remove any of them. Now, you don't have to start on the bottom. That's a little that's just referring to, you know, one item, not both items. Alright. If I had a power drill, which I do have, this would be quicker. I didn't think ahead of time. And comparing these just really quick, identical in length as well. So that's pretty neat. You don't have to keep track of these individually because they're all the same screw. That. We're doing alright so far. It's been pretty simple. We've only used 2 tools total so far. Let's hope that the whole install is that way. So, you know, we've removed these 4. Let's shimmy this thing out. And we got some more connections back here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove them. Okay. And you might be asking, well, how do I remove them, Michael? You remove them the same way you remove the other one that I showed you. Even though the fittings themselves are different, the way that most of these connections work is the same, which is that there's a tab and you're pressing the tab in and then you're pulling out. Now we're going to remove these 4. I'm going to speed it up just so you're not waiting. Take this out. Just one connection. Alright, we're looking at the top of the radio, right? And this fitting was really throwing me for a loop. What you gotta do, again, shout out to the autofocus not working. Jesus. Is you gotta press this. When you press this, you pull this piece right here. You gotta pull that piece. So press this, then pull this. And you can see it pivot like that. Then when it pivots, now you can pull it out. I'm doing this with one hand. Yep. Now we got it off. So I forgot these 2 bolts right here. You can still use a ratchet. I'm just using a drill to make it a little quicker. Okay, this pulls out. Beep, boop, beep. And we got some more connections. So this one's like the last one I showed you. Hopefully you can't see this shite. It's press and then there's a lever. Alright. This one is push and then pull. Maybe it's push and pull. Come on. Don't make me look like a fool. There we go. Yep. Just a little stubborn. And then this is zip lined in. I ended up using that metal trim tool and just popping it off that way. Don't really want to bring knife by wires if I don't need to. Now, third tool we're going to need is a T10, and I have an Allen key in particular, but there is a small screw here, yeah, silver thing, and a small thing here, and then this should come out, and then we're going to go ahead and put it into the new head unit. Alright, so what I did is I went ahead and removed those tiny screws with the T10. That's what they look like. Now on the top portion of this are little like clip things, so I'm just going to pull those off, those clips, just like that, and then it comes out. Hopefully that wasn't impossible to see. I'm going to try to show this to you the best I can. We got kind of a stomach cam going on because I don't have a GoPro. So you see how this is like this? That's how it's going to slide on. Now there's these little things here. These are going to slide through like little hoops Okay, and then I'm just gonna push it in, and there's like these little, like, I don't know the terminology. They're like little shark fins, and they're just gonna snap over this thing. So yep, just like that. And then don't forget we still got those little T10s that got to go back in here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut the camera. If you remember, I said you got to tighten these T10 screws back on. However, in my particular case, these T10 screws won't actually fit. That's an issue with the head unit itself. We're going to try it without that. But we have 3 more bags. One of the bags was with the head unit. We had another one with the instruction manual, but the image is very difficult to follow, and any videos online that I've been able to find, very, very hard to follow. I'm a rookie, just like you, so I'm going to show you how to do it at a pace that you can actually follow. Let's start with the small box first. So we're going to take all these wires out. We're going to start with this wire first, okay? Looks like this, so come a little bit closer. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plug this into the bottom right. The tab is down, and we're going to press this tab and then push it in. So put it in like that. Bam. Simple as that. Now we have this, which is for the antenna. We're going to go ahead and plug this in right here. It's going to be a snug fit. It's all right. Now, another thing that we have is this. It's for the backup camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this on the upper left. Okay. Now we have 2 USB cords. You'll notice that one of them is a 4-pin connection and the other one is a 6-pin connection. The 4-pin connection we're going to put out to the side for now, and I'll show you why later on. But for the 6-pin, we're going to go ahead and put it on the upper left right next to the one that we just put in. Again, tab down. Now we got 2 more cords. This one right here is for the GPS connection. Looks like this. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put this right on here, on this piece, and we're going to twist it. Similar to how you would do like cable or for your Wi-Fi router or modem. We're just twisting this on. And it's not going to go all the way on, but we're going to tighten it as much as it'll allow us. Okay, so now we got that on. Then we have the microphone. So for the microphone, this is something we'll have to route up by the steering column. But essentially, we're going to search through these wires, and one of them is going to say mic. It's upside down, but it says mic. And we're just going to plug that in like that. Okay, now looking over to the big thing of wires, we have a set. So we're going to start with this. This is also a 4-pin connector, similar to the USB. We're going to actually use this one to plug in down here. So I'm putting it right here, if you can see that. Now, why did I choose this one instead of that one? Well, we already have USB ports in the car that we do want to use. And that's what this will allow us to do. If I had used this, it would have been fine. Those ports just wouldn't have worked, and this one would have worked instead. Now you might be asking, what's the difference between a 6-pin and a 4-pin USB? Well, the difference is that the 4-pin allows the connection but doesn't actually deliver power, whereas the 6-pin will. All right, now we have this cord also in the big bag. And this says camera. We're going to take this upper left. See all these wires? One of them says camera. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in just like that. Now, we have one more major conglomerate of cords. And we have what they call a CAN box. At least that's what they call it on the paper. So I'm going to do this to the best of my ability explaining this. We have these white wires, at least in my particular assembly. See how wide it is? We're going to put that up here. Right here. the tab is going to face up, okay? So I'm going to put this in here like that, tab up, and it snapped in. Okay, now to keep things as simple as possible, I'm going to swing all the other wires to the left, so it's as easy to follow as possible. Now, here is a black, whatever you call it. This is going to plug in to the bottom right, tab down. Okay, there we go, just like that. Okay, now this other black is going to connect to the car, so we don't have to worry about that for now. We're going to push that off to the side. Now we have some more things. So this guy right here is going to connect to the upper right of this module. So upper right, tab down. Okay, good to go. And what I'm doing, in case you're wondering, is I'm pushing it in, but then I'm trying to pull it out just gently to see if it's actually all the way in. Now, this other white and black, we're going to connect to the CAN box. Now, the CAN box has a wide, and it also has a very wide. So find the appropriate one and go ahead and plug that in, just like that. I like when it snaps, and that did not snap. Okay, now looking at this, looks like we're almost done here, but we have this, right? There's a whole bunch of wires that connect to this. This is going to plug into here. Now, how do I know this? Well, it took me a very long time to figure it out, to be completely honest. But if it doesn't fit, it's not meant to be, right? We have pretty much everything connected that's supposed to be connected. Yeah, so let's make our way over to the car, and we will actually start plugging this stuff into the car. We'll have to route this GPS thing and mount it near the windshield, and we'll have to put this mic somewhere by the steering column so that when you talk, it picks up your voice. But we're almost there, guys, so let's make our way over to the car. Now should be the fun part. We have the head unit. You can look at the head unit, not at me. And then we have all of these that we'll essentially need to plug in. We need to make sure that, you know, we test this before we actually put it all back together. So I'm going to get close here because these cords will only reach so far. So let's look at this one. So we have this one here. This will go to perhaps this one, yes. So we have this little flag emoji looking thing. We're going to plug that in like that. And it snaps in. Should snap in. Yep, okay, good. Now, what else do we have here? Okay, we have the USB. So this, I'm going to remind myself, has to stick out. Otherwise, that defeats the purpose of the USB. This GPS thing we'll wire through here if we can. Might have to cut that, we'll see. Okay, then we also have this piece right here, and this piece will plug in to this. Okay, like that. Now we have this blue piece. This blue piece will plug into this piece right here. Okay. Just like that. So this is the USB port and the things that I was talking about earlier that allow this blue thing to work. And then just trying to sort these out a little bit. Then we got this big boy. Big boy. So this is big, but I'll show you really quick. It's bigger than the rest. Right? Like this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. This has 4. This only has 2. This only has 2, it looks like. So make sure you don't get these mixed up, right? This is clearly the smallest of the 3. And then this is the next smallest, and then this is the largest. So we'll start with the largest. So this largest is going to plug in like this. And if it doesn't want to plug in, it's probably backwards. Okay. That snapped in like that. I actually really do like that lever design. Now we have 2 more. For these 2 more, we have the ones we just talked about. So this one is the smallest out of the 2. So we're going to use the smaller of the 2 on the infotainment system. And then this is the one that's remaining. So we're going to plug this into here. Okay. Now, I'm going to take the zip tie off of this mic. Okay. Now, we're just going to tuck these cords in here gently. And we're not going to worry about the GPS or anything right now. We're just going to make sure, okay, you know, things fit like they should. Uh-oh, look at this. We got a cord that's not plugged in. So let's pull this out real quick. And you can see that this thing right here is supposed to plug in right here. So definitely double check, triple check. Even then, you still want to just put it in as a test fit. And then what we're going to do, you got to make sure all these cords, because there's so many of them, are tucked. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to see if this works the way we intend to. So let me get the key. And fingers crossed that it powers on with the car. Oh, look at that. Bam. So what we're going to do is turn it on so it's not so annoying. And we're going to test some of the functionality, make sure it works the way we intend to. The instruction manual also calls out that we should connect to the Wi-Fi, make sure it's up to date. And then once we've confirmed everything works, including the backup camera, let's close the doors really quick, see if that fixes the issue. Okay, that did not fix the issue.
It came on for a second. Put it reverse again. Now watch.
Okay, so something is probably wired wrong. So we're going to go back in, we're going to check it, we're going to fix it, and then what we'll do is we'll start routing the microphone, the GPS, find a good place for this 6-pin USB connector. We're back. So in case you missed the text that was on the screen earlier, you in fact do need 2 screws to hold down this fan. And the reason for that is because the car has this natural curvature to it where you will need the plastic to flex. And if you don't have these 2 bolts holding down the fan, it is going to essentially shift and not be flush. It won't look good. So I just used slightly larger screws that I had lying around, and fortunately that ended up working. But the T10 screws should fit. And then one other thing that I want to address is the backup camera. So in my particular case, before I installed this head unit, I have a backup camera that pops up right here. And after talking to the seller, if you have this specific configuration, even if you plug out the cord back here, which you can't even see, it won't display on this particular head unit. Most of you, I don't think, will have that problem. You'll either have a 4-inch screen or you'll have an 8-inch screen standard, and you won't have the backup camera up on the mirror. If that's the case, you have to follow the wiring diagram, which essentially shows the 4-inch reverse adapter. That's if you have the 4-inch screen. And then the 8-inch adapter right here that comes off the CAN port. That is if you have an 8-inch screen standard. And then in my particular configuration, I had this gray thing just dangling around. Everything else was connected. Reason being, these are both hazard lights. Depending on the configuration of your vehicle will determine which one you use. You don't have to use both of them in order for the hazards to work, right? That's case in point right there. So after you get that all wired up, you will want to figure out where the antenna goes. So my particular case, I wired it underneath here and then poked it through the top, right? You want it either mounted to metal or somewhere close to the glass, probably both, to be honest. And then here is where I'm going to route this extra USB cable. This is the 6-pin right there. And then I wired through the liner down here and then up here, just following the body lines. I know you can't see it, but it's very hidden. That right there is the microphone. The microphone will come with a clip on it. I didn't use it because it's not going to hold. So it's just staying in place here. You want to put it somewhere where it's close to where the driver is, like here, for example, but not so close to the window that if they pick up a call, they're only hearing that. Okay, so we mounted down the 4 points, similar to what we did in the very beginning of the install, right? Didn't show that step because we've already shown it. It's the same thing in reverse. Similarly, we have to put on these 2 panel pieces, and then we're all set. Let me get that done. I am doing this by myself again, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this. Let's see. Well, that's a heck of an angle. Let's see if I can show you guys this. All right, we'll do this one first. We're taking note of how this comes together. All right, got to be careful because it is plastic. You don't want to break anything. And the part I'm troubleshooting right now is just that USB wire is kind of interfering with this panel clipping in. There we go. Nice. So that actually wasn't too bad. If you remember last time there was this part that had to kind of like slide out. However, with this screen, that is no longer a thing. So that looks really good. You guys can speed up this next part if you want. I'm just going to do the other side. And then we're going to do just a general, like, quick first look at this unit. Alright. Making sure everything is fitting where it's supposed to. Nice, dude. This looks really good. Now, of course, I'm saying that because I did it. But I genuinely mean, like, this looks like pretty damn close to factory. You could see this is kind of has a, if it focuses, has a slightly different color than this. But other than that, I mean, as far as fitment goes, it fits like a glove. And I was really worried that you know, this was gonna look aftermarket. I mean, the user interface certainly does. That's kind of just what you get. But yeah, I'll start it up. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted here with this music. It's gonna auto boot up, I think. No? Okay, that's a W. I'm not gonna walk you through the head unit, I don't think, because it's pretty self-explanatory. There goes the music. But yeah, everything works. The only thing I want to emphasize is that, one, these fan mounts have to be secured in order for this fan to sit flush like it should. And test the unit before you bolt everything down and put the trim pieces back on. Because if it doesn't work perfectly, you're going to have to end up taking it all apart. So save yourself the heartache. But that is the unit, guys. Like, this is sick. Not getting paid for this. I did pay for this unit. It was about $500. But considering everything that you get, I mean, you know, I'm in the middle of the woods right now. This probably won't work. But you get navigation. You got YouTube and Netflix. I don't want you to know my location, so I'm going to switch the screen. You also get Bluetooth, which this car didn't have before.
You get backup camera if you didn't have it already in the mirror. Like, this is a solid unit. I'm really pumped about this. Hopefully this video helped you guys somewhat. If it didn't, shoot me a message and I will do my best to help you. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.